Hi everyone, this is the introverted comedian, and in this episode I'm going to do, just like the description says, a little bit of everything. First of all, let me get my trolls to follow me, as I kind of need them. Check if they have enough food. So first thing first, I do have a T3 armorer, and he did make some good armor for us, but we might actually need a T4 one. So I'm just gonna try to raid Captain Narel's camp here next to her ship in order to see if I can find one. Now, as you've seen in my previous videos, all you need to do is approach the camp. If you want, you can stop your trolls like here, like I just did. You get close to their camp and draw them in one by one. If you're not happy with the troll that's here, since it's a random spawn, you can just kill them or have your trolls come and join you and help you kill them. You can do the same over here. You can just simply check if the troll is something suited for you. If not, get your trolls to move in there. Go as far away as possible from the camp, but not too far. Basically, once I reach my base, the camp just respawned. So all you have to do now is go back until the troll you want spawns. If you really want a certain troll, you can try to do this a couple of times, but if you have something that's decent enough in your base already, I wouldn't worry about it. So as you can see, it's not that easy to get a name troll or to get one spawn that you actually want, a certain crafter, but I'm still hoping to get my T4 armorer. Now this is grinding and it's probably boring at some point, but once you get the proper troll, the one you want, you won't need to worry about finding another one, because you can just move them around, or you can just have one base where you can do everything and then just take your items with you. Yeah, so as you can see, it's quite hard to get what you want. Which is why I'm going to move away from this camp right now, and I'm going to try to raid Baywatch camp, which is also nearby, right here on the map. Now this one is a little bit more difficult, since there are a lot of enemies, and I already have some rescued trolls in there, dealing some damage to them. So if you're not careful enough, you can either die or your trolls might kill them before you get the chance to knock them down. So you need to be kind of patient and careful at the same time. Yeah, so as you can see, that one was already going after my trolls. You can just come in here, check if anyone is worth knocking down. None of them seem to be named ones, so you can just join the fight. I always like to take the hardened bricks with me. I know you can make them, but sometimes you just need those few extra bricks. So it's better to save them for later. The same goes for anything you see in there that you actually need in your base. Or, for example, if you need insulated wood, taking the paintings and dismantling them is perfect. It saves you time from harvesting bark and from drying that wood. So again, it's quite tricky when it comes to this point, because you can't see from the start what type of trolls are there. Some of them might be the same, for example, like you have a sorcerer, or you have the fighter or an archer. They will spawn all the time in here. But that other crafter, which is what I'm looking for now, can be a random spawn. Yeah, so once you see that it's not a named one, or it's not something you're after, you can just go on and deal with them.
I don't want to, but I will.
At some point I was quite lucky during my game throughs. I was finding the name trolls quite easy in these camps. It was basically either here at Captain Narel's ship, either here at Baywatch Camp, or New Kemi Docks. But there is a small chance, to be honest, to find them, so you can only hope. It's not something certain after all. Yeah, so as you've seen in my previous videos, this is where you can get yourself some curry steel. Here you usually find the sorcerer and 2 cooks. Once again I was unlucky, I couldn't find the named one. So, in case you need some gold bars or silver bars, you can take them from there. And again we were unlucky, so it's time to move forward. Let's see if we're lucky enough to get a spawn in here. Oh, so at some point I used to farm myself a small army in here, but apparently they don't spawn that often anymore. So now it's time to go back to camp and leave a few things, and since it's close to night time, I'll just try Captain Narel's camp for a little bit, because it's easier to try and get yourself some trolls in there even during the night compared to other camps. fact, I think there's plenty of time to raid the new Kami dogs, so I'll just go for those. And then when it's close to night time, I'll just go for the smaller camp next to Captain Narel's ship. So, since I'm an introverted person, I don't really like to talk that much, so if you hear me pausing, it must be because of that. The same if I stutter, it will mostly be because of that. I get a little bit nervous when I have to talk to people. Yeah, so as you can see here, we've got two guards.
Don't make me
Fortunately, they leave some bits of armor for you after they did the Age of War, I think, chapter 2. They started dropping armor, which is quite good if you need some spare materials. Yeah, so here I gathered myself a small army, as this cage usually has an accursed. It's either a fighter or, as you can see, this one is a tier 3 fighter. I even found the named one in there. So it's either a fighter or an archer. That one got stuck in there for the moment, so I'll have to wait a little bit. Yeah, and here usually you have some black corsair. It can be a tier 3, it can be a tier 2, tier 1, but sometimes I guess it might also be a named one, a tier 4. Still, having a small army in here, in case you just want to raid, or better said pillage, the camp, you just draw them all in, get them all here, and they're yours. So once again, I just speed up next to them, check if it's something that I want. If not, switch to my main weapon instead of the truncheon. Instead of knocking them down, they end up splattered. So usually you have this guy here who's either a fighter or an archer, who's all by himself and can be easily defeated. Now, if you want, like I said, to get everyone to fight your trolls, you can just run in there, draw the attention of everyone, make them aggro on you, and head over to your trolls, to your army of trolls. If not, you can just get their attention in turns, like I did now. This way you can actually get yourself a troll if you need one. I found name trolls here quite a lot of times, but during this game through I couldn't find as many as I did before.
gods are displeased with me.
Still, I'm just hoping to get myself a few more. I still need the name Taskmaster. Still need the name Armorer. A named Carpenter as well.
I don't want to hurt you, but I will.
Oh, and the name Dancer. Although, to be fair, most Siptah, you don't really need that dancer that much, since I've already done one of the vaults. I think it was the Outsider's Vault, which already removes corruption from you, and that was the main purpose of the dancer, or at least it was for me. Okay, let's get some light over here, because it did get to night time. Another thing I noticed since Age of War, there are not so many mysterious figurines over here. You still find them, but not as often as I used to find them before. I think before I was finding them during each raid. Now I need to raid the camp for 3 or 4 times before doing it. So again, no name crafter, which means I just need to be taken down. Another thing I want to collect is them gaseous orbs, because I really like having the noxious arrows with me. They're kind of useful against nearly everything on the island. So if you need some good arrows to help you finish enemies, those are the choice. Let's see if we're lucky enough to get the Gravedigger, and finally we've got the Gravedigger. I was actually hoping for this. We've got some scraps as well, which I'm going to keep. One of the reasons I wanted this is because if you go to certain locations like the Lemurian Island or different ley shrines, you can find things buried under there. So this is one of the next parts of my journey anyway. I was actually hoping to get it during this episode. Okay, now that the camp is been raided, or at least the part I needed to check for trolls, it's time to go back to my camp and maybe raid Captain Narel's camp after doing some dismantling and of course leaving some of the items I found during the raids. Now I'll try my luck until morning with that, and then the next plan is to use my figurines at the pools of the grey ones, get some more fragments of power, and then I want to visit the Void Forge, the tower, in order to unlock the tablet of power. This way I can unlock more knowledge easier. I already have some tutorials from the exiled lands on what exactly happens and how to use the tablet of power, which helps you save a lot of fragments. Yeah, so I apologize for doing random stuff. But I just need things in a certain order. That's just how I am. There's nothing I can do about it. So as I was saying, getting these is quite useful because you can actually get yourself some hardened leather. It's not that much, but still it's better than nothing. So I'll leave the scraps here. And I think I made something for those figurines. Let me see. Yeah, this is it. Alright, it's nearly daytime, but I still have a little bit of time before the sun is up, so I'll just try to get a name trowel from here.
In the name of Set, identify yourself!
So it was an armorer, what we needed, but not a named one, so not good enough for me.
In the name of Set, identify yourself!
Yeah, so as you can see, just run a little bit further from the camp and you've basically reset it, which allows you to come in and do this. So I was talking earlier about the age of war coming. I was actually happy when the purges changed, because now I don't have to really build a base anymore. I don't need walls, I don't need anything. I just place my structures wherever I need them, my benches, and I can do it. At some point I will do some building, but since it takes time, first I want to make sure that I have proper armor, that I have everything I need built, and then I can start doing construction work as well. Oh, I'm an adept of things being useful, not necessarily how they look. So yeah, now it looks like a deserted camp, but as long as I can use the benches, I don't really care about the rest of the things. So now it's proper daytime, so I'll just try this one more time, which also seems unlucky. Yeah. So it's time to prepare for a visit to the pools of the Grey Ones. I'll just get the grave digger here. I'll leave my heavyweight truncheon in here as well, because I'm not using it. I will, however, get my star metal pickaxe back. Now, since they make you bleed a lot, I prefer to have as many extracts as possible with me. Usually 20 is enough. Don't forget the tears of Gula, which give your followers some extra damage. This one, I think, is already giving the bonus, it's just not showing it, but you can just unequip it and equip it again. Let's check if these guys have enough food. Oh, look, we found something nice. Some more hardened bricks. When it comes to myself, I tend to keep like 50 food. I don't really need that much. When it goes to the trolls, I like to have like 200, just like I have now. The rest of it you can just leave in here. After all, you can make gruel all the time. It's not like the hardest thing to make. So let's get what we're here for. Let's see if we have any. Try to get them by how difficult it is to get them. So I think this one is by far the hardest. Then we go with the Loigor. I'll say the Giant King is next. Let's get the tuna and the chocho. Then we have the first man and the husk. So basically I will start from here, from what I think it's the easiest to defeat up to the hardest to defeat, which is this guy, a big boss. Alright, so let's head to the pools of the grey ones. As you've seen in one of my previous videos, it doesn't matter which one you choose. You can either choose the one in the middle, the one in the east or the west. It does the same thing for you. It spawns in the monsters from the figurine, and you can just get yourself either items, legendary items, or like I did in one of the last episodes, you can get plenty of fragments of power. Now, one of the reasons you might want to keep your character sated is that you get that little bit of extra health. It's not much, but when it comes to dealing with opponents who make you bleed, like the grey ones do, then you might actually need that just to save yourself. Alright, so here we are. Oh, I think I'm going to go to this one again. It seems harder to reach the other ones, and at the moment I don't really need to fight the grey ones. I've already learned all the recipes. You can see in my previous videos where exactly you can find what you need to learn, and I'd rather avoid getting myself killed or my trolls killed. As you can see, this one is quite damaged just after a few small blows. Again, if your way allows you, you can just take their weapons and recycle them. It is a very, very good way to get yourself some obsidian bars without actually having to go to a forge to do them. So you can try to sneak past these guys. You won't be able to sneak past this guy though.
Don't want to cause trouble.
I do have the hunger blade, which add not only bleeding, but they also add disease.
I don't want to hurt you, but I will.
Alright, so there we go. We have one more skeleton key. And the rest I don't really need. So, time to take these guys out and carry on to the pool. I really hate these guys that have maces, because they really do a lot of damage to my trolls. I wish that mace was just as good in my hands as it is in theirs. It's not a bad one, to be fair, but it doesn't compare to this one, to the Gurish Globe. So I wouldn't use it unless I have this one. So these guys don't deal much damage. You deal with them as well. That guy on the other hand is dangerous, but I don't really need to fight him right now. Well, I hoped I wouldn't need to fight him. It seems he had another idea. Still, if you just gang up on him, he does give you a fragment of power and other stuff. If we killed him, we might as well check what's in here. There might be some fragment of power, and after all, this is one of the reasons that I came to the pools, to get more fragments of power, like you can get out of these relic fragments. Okay, so we only have this guy left before we can start using the figurines. There's one more down there, but he won't bother us. Alright, and now it's time to do what we came here for. So I'll start with the husk figurine. And you can shoot some poisonous arrows, noxious arrows here. It will help you deal a little bit of damage. But the reason why I chose these guys strictly because they just die very quickly. Now, since they are found in the storm, you can harvest some unstable question marks from them. and you also have the schematics fragments. Let's see, what did we get? Wild swing. I have no idea what that is. So let's see. Yeah, so it's a two-handed sword. Now, in case you need any of what they drop, you can use them, but I wouldn't bother that much. So it's time to go with the undead first man figurine. I already did that in one of the previous videos, so it's nothing new. These guys are not that strong, but if you stay close to them and give them the chance, they can actually kill you. Now, as you can see, they also drop primitive armor as well. This is something new. I've seen it in the previous video as well. Eldarium caches. Some time ago they didn't drop these, but any Eldarium is welcomed. After all, you don't have to go to a vault anymore if you get it from here. So next we have the Chocho figurine. This one can usually give you a Chocho as a pet, and I'm hoping for one. They're quite nice to have around. Let's see if I'm lucky enough to get one. Yeah, so I was lucky enough. Maybe even better than I hoped. So first thing first, I'll just harvest their bodies. After all, they do give that lesser. Right, might as well keep the hides just in case. And let's see what we have here. So I have the Chocho token of friendship, that's perfect. Schematics, fragment of power. You also have Chocho war paint if you want to paint yourself with it. Okay, so another token of friendship, crystalline guardian head. I don't really like the crystalline one anymore that much, so I'll just leave it in here. The fragment of power is welcomed. More tokens of friendship, that's actually very good, as I'm hoping for a veteran. I've got the new schematics as well, transference. Again, I have no idea what this is, so let's just see. looks nice. Probably a sword from what I can see. Right. Now let's get to the tunas. Now the tunas are similar to the chochos. They can also drop those French tokens, and you can use them, summon them as pets or fighters. Like some mini sharks on land, to be fair.
Let me hurt you, wanderer.
Yes, that's why they call them tunas. Now, as you can see, they also drop some javelins. They have their own war paint. So it's time for round 2 of tunas. So, up so far, there's plenty of fragments of power from just a few easy enemies to defeat. Some lesser question marks, some unstable question marks. These tokens, schematic fragments. Oh, and this one's nice, gladiator's armor. Yeah, so I have no idea which one this gladiator armor is. But I'm sure I'll see it at some point. Ah, that's this one. Yeah, doesn't look bad. Not the best, but doesn't look bad. Okay, next is the giant kick figurine. Now this guy is more intimidating in looks than he is in strength. he has quite nice drops. There's one more figurine of the Giant King. If you want, you can just block him while the trials finishes. As you can see, his health is going down fast. Okay, next, the Loigor figurine. Not that difficult, but also not that easy to defeat. Same principle, as long as you stay out of the way of the trolls, they will deal with them quite quickly. They also drop these legendary weapons, but to be honest, I'm not that interested in them, so I will take this one. This one I don't really need. Yeah, so the Loigors are basically dragons. They will drop some dragon horns and dragon bones in case you need some. I'll just keep them for later. So I've got myself another weapon schematics, the Hunter Spear. And let's see exactly which one this is. Yeah, so it doesn't look that good, but it's not bad either. And now it's time to try the last figurine, the Kliandian figurine. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I don't think the ones who made the game know how to pronounce it, or at least not all of them. So, Mr. Mushroom, quite strong if you let him break you. Which is why the best you can do is distract him. And then when you get the chance, you help your trolls take him down. He just looks like a giant-sized Pokemon. Especially since he can use that sun ray. So you can take this one with you, it's quite useful. The shield I'm not using, it's nice, but there's no point in taking it. Alright, so this was quite productive, to be honest. Oh yeah, you can also harvest him. After all, you get these puffball mushrooms, you get some insulated wood. I won't need that meat, but the rest are useful. A greater question mark, which is not so bad. Okay, so now it's time to leave. I'm heading back to my camp. I just need to get these guys to let me pass through. Yeah, so this is one way to avoid lots of fighting. You can just climb up or down and avoid meeting the enemy. You will have to do some fighting, but it's not as much as before, and it will help you get where you need faster, unless you need to farm some other weapons. Whoa. That was tricky. That was close. That was very close. As I said, the ones with the mace are really killers. So my trolls got away with it, but I was nearly dead at that point. Okay, you can again avoid these guys. I really can't believe how close that was. I wasn't expecting that guy to actually hit me that many times. But this is why it's important to always be ready to dodge a blow. So make sure when you go to the grey ones, you always have plenty of stamina to spare. So first I'm gonna dismantle some of these, because I'm not really using them. Just to renew my shield this way. Now, since I don't have a compost heap and I'm not using it, but I might get one in the future, I'm just gonna store this in here, since it won't have an expiry time anymore. These need to be melted. I'm going to need some glass flasks very soon, so I'll probably visit my old camp over here, my old base, where I have plenty of crystals to make some. Now I will take these keys with me. because I'll probably go run a vault at some point. I will take the fragments of power because I'm heading for the tower. I'll just leave the schematics fragments in here. Okay, so now it's time to see exactly what these tokens of friendship are. I already know, but some might not know. So it's time to lay them on the ground. Basically, you just use one, and I was actually lucky to get a veteran one. You'll get this guy. Now he does look like a tuna and a frog. It might not be the strongest, but as you can see he has plenty of HP, so if you just need someone to defend your camp, or if you want to use him during a purge, you can level him up and he will be doing a decent job. Let's see what else we get from the others. Okay, now this is the smaller version. Let me get some light for them. I need to fix my torch. Well, you never have that plant fiber when you need it. Okay, so now I have the torch and we can see them better. So, as you can see, the difference is huge, which is why when you get a token or two, you might hope to get this guy, the veteran, instead of the much weaker version. But to be honest, it's quite hard to get it. So I was surprised I got it from the first try. Yeah, so I was lucky-ish. I got myself two of these, the veterans, and the rest of them are just small ones. So, if you need some easy followers, instead of knocking things down, you can just get yourself a figurine of the tunas and you can get yourself some small army that's demi-human, I'd say. Next, we're moving on to the Chocho. The tokens work the same way. You need to use the token in order to get the ally or the veteran ally. So once again, it seems like I've got 1 out of 5. It's not bad. Let's start with the smaller ones. These guys look scarier than the tunas. They kind of remind me of Goro from Mortal Kombat. Right, so this is actually the one you want to get if you ever go for Chochos, the veteran ally, because he can actually stack quite a lot of vitality at some point. He has quite nice grit, not to mention he can carry more than a normal Thrall would be able to. These guys as well. Even so, I prefer this guy. He does some nice magic, he does some interesting things, to be fair, which might be quite nice to see. Still, at this point, I'm not going to use them. I'm just making sure I have everything I need for the next departure. So once again, I need to replenish my aloe extract. I have the keys with me, I have the fragments of power. We don't need these, they have enough food. So, since I'm going to get some things from my old camp as well, from my old base, I'll take the horse with me. And now we're just heading for the tower. Now if you want, you can spend your time fighting things on the way, but I already leveled up my Thralls. Both accursed berserkers are at level 20, so there's no need to fight anymore, which is why I'm going to run past everything as fast as possible. Hopefully unlock the tablet of power so I can get better results from the fragments of power, or at least unlock some good armor or something from the Void Forge. Now it will be a little bit tricky since there is a maelstrom. I keep confusing these two terms. Well, after all, English is not my first language, so it can happen. Now I'm hoping not to encounter way too many enemies on my way there. But to be fair, I am prepared to deal with them. Up so far, yeah, I was lucky until now. Okay, so basically this is where the tunas are. Let's see if these guys drop tokens of friendship during Maelstrom. Although I hope they will.
Yes, meaningless.
Yeah, so far no token of friendship. I guess they only do it as figurines. So it seems like this part of the map is for them. And it seems they're quite persistent. They don't let me heal. But they're not doing that much damage. They're not that hard to deal with, so they just fell. I think this is my first time during a Maelstrom that I'm visiting the tower. What I can see, these guys carry on, even though most of the creatures around disappear.
Wanderer.
Now, since I am here and I do have some skeleton keys, I might as well open this legendary chest up. There's another one right here. Not the best things I could get, but still not the worst things. Okay, so now it's time to go off. And welcome to the Void Forge. The place where you can get more schematics as long as you have fragments of power. And I have plenty, so I'm not worried about it. Now, in case some of you don't know this already, let me see if I can get my trials to leave me alone. It doesn't matter which pillar you interact with, you'll get the same thing, a random recipe. So it's not, for example, if you have this one with a Silent Legion armor bit on top, you won't get that one, you just get something at random. The same goes for these with the Voidforged sword and Warhammer. Now, the annoying thing about the Voidforge compared to the esoteric library in the Exile lands is that here you might actually get the same recipe twice or more than twice, which for me is a huge waste of fragments of power, but there's nothing you can do about it except carry on until you get what you need. So apparently there's not that many recipes anymore. There used to be more of them at some point. I guess I just have to unlock them a different way. But I did get the Silent Legion armors and a few other things, so that's not bad. I guess it's time to go away now. Now before I go, my aim is to go back to my former base at Sweetwater Lake. Okay, so the maelstrom is already done. If you want, you can fight. If not, you can just use Mr. Horsey and get away from things. So as I was saying earlier, you can see, or you could see, because now all the corruption has been removed from me, since I already did the Outsider's Vault and I got the sigil from there and used it. I am getting my corruption removed all the time. It kicks in like every few seconds. It removes a small quantity of it. Okay, so I think we might as well get ourselves some small elephant. which you can get over here, close to the ledge train of the Birdman. You never know when you need one. I'll just let my horse hold it. And I'll be on my way. Now up so far during the journey, I didn't really use a horse to travel around. It's quite fast. I advise you, if you need to move something, if you need to get from one point to the other, distant points on the map, you can use the horse or you can use a rhino. If you just go exploring like I used to do before and you need to do certain things or hit different vaults one after the other, there's no point in carrying the horse over with you. You just leave him in one of your camps and then go back for him, which is exactly what I'm going to do in a few moments. After all, he does need to heal. And here we are again. So I'll just pop this little guy over here. I will get some tree bark from for Mr. Elephant to grow. Now these I don't really need with me anymore. I don't need these either. I will need some low extracts though, so I'll just get my alchemist prepare some. Okay, so right now I want to go visit the Harbor of the Drowned, which is close by. First, let me get some water. If this pesky bird allows me to. Now, before you get to the harbor of the drowned or the twice drowned, if you want, you can get yourself some fish gill potion or something else that gives you the ability to breathe underwater for longer, because you might need it at some point. But if you're careful enough, you can do it without the potions. Now, when it comes to getting to the vault, you can either try to kill everyone inside, but these guys are quite hard to deal with since they have a lot of HP and they fall down quite hard, so you can just avoid them. This way you won't waste time with them unless you need to get some experience for your trials. And there we go, we have the harbor of the drowned, which is right over here in somewhere, I'd say between D and E12 or D and E11, something like that. Don't forget to bring your torch in. Because you can often miss things if you don't have a light source. If you want, there is some glowing goop in here. You can harvest some. Now over here you have the devolved drowned insignia right next to the entrance, and of course you'll find more items that you can build related to this dungeon as you progress. So going further, you'll see why I was telling you about having a breathing potion. You're basically being forced to go underwater. You can just go like I'm doing it. Instead of going straight into the water, you can just come up to this point and then you can dive in and head straight for what you need. Now, the thing about doing this, you might miss some chests, some treasure chests, but after all, you're here to do the dungeon to get the sigil, so you don't need to care that much about that. So this was a little bit dangerous. I just made it in time. Now I just need to get these guys to follow me until my trolls get here as well. The small ones are not hard to deal with, the bigger one is a little bit harder. As I said, he does have a lot of HP and it does take damage quite hard. So now we can turn on the lights. Okay, some nice statues over here, but it's time to go forward. And we have this elevator over here, which of course takes us down. We just need to swim over here, swim up, and be ready to fight more enemies. Now, because you have to go underwater most of the time, your trolls won't be able to keep up with you. So you'll just need to do the dungeon slowly if you need their help. If not, you can just go as fast as you want. In my case, I prefer to get their help. Because sometimes I can end up aggroing too many enemies, which is not a good thing. Now, this room is actually a puzzle room. As you can see, there's a winch in there. And there are these stones here blocking the way. But in order to do this peacefully, you want to take care of the enemies first in the room. And then you can actually mind your own business.
The bright joy of slaying.
Now, if you want, you can harvest the fishmen. They do have some things you can get. But I'm honestly not interested in any of them except the Eldarium. So I don't really have to harvest them. Okay, so I was actually hoping to get one of these, a legendary chest, and I got myself this one.
I don't want to hurt you, but I will.
Now, this one is not that much useful on Siptah, to be honest. But in the Exile lands it's quite good when you go inside the volcano area. That heat insulation will keep you from taking damage, and also from not dying all the time or getting vulnerable just because you're overheating. So, as I said, one of the best things you can do before solving the puzzle, you need to take out the enemies, watch out for their special attacks. You've got this guy, the little bit smaller one, greener one, that does the toxic attack, then you've got this guy that does that giant slam. Even though they look similar, they have a difference in HP. As far as I remember, this one is around 3,800, nearly 4k. This one is around 3k, so there is a difference after all. Now, one of the things I like in the vaults now is the fact that you can also get dragon powder from the chests. Not that you need it that much on Siptah, because after all, with the Age of War Chapter 3, you mostly need it for the assault in the Exile lands. Now, in order to solve this puzzle, you need to come here, you need to push this winch. Once you push it, one of those weights is lifted. Now, after this weight is lifted, you just swim inside. And you will find these giant fish eggs, which I'll show you where you need to place them in a few seconds. Remember, since you don't have a breathing potion, you shouldn't let yourself get out of breath, otherwise you'll lose HP. Yeah, so basically you've got the giant fish eggs. You just need to come, that's the way we came. This is the winch. You just need to come over here, drop the pickaxe in there, and then the next door is open. Okay, so as always my trolls are helping me, even when they shouldn't. Well, you can just jump in, or you can take the steps there, doesn't really matter. Again, you can have some glowing goop from here if you need some. And you want to head over here. You can already see the big boss. Before the big boss, there's still some fighting to do. Now you have some loot chests over here, in case you need anything like this travel powder. Again. So this guy like throw acid at us, or better said spit acid at us. If you want, you can avoid these guys and just go straight to the big boss, who decided to come by himself. So let me just give him a taste of what he means. One of the reasons you need to watch out for those greenish guys and that toxic attack of theirs. They can do plenty of damage, and if you're wide open it can be fatal, and you don't really want to die, especially when you're at the end of the dungeon. So Mr. Postman is nearly down. Now the amount of decaying Eldarium is not that good, also not that bad. There will be some. You also get scales of Dagon from here. I can just keep some of them. I'm not sure if I'm ever using them, but I might as well keep them, even if it's just as a memory. So there's more enemies here. Even more over here, just before you get to the treasure room. And these annoying guys are actually the ones that face us. acid, so we want to take them out as quickly as possible. Right, so now it's time to go to the treasure room. If you want, you can watch a video over here. It shows you what exactly happened on the island of Siptah. If not, you can just go over here. So it's not so bad, to be honest, the amount of decaying Eldarium. We've got the sigil of the drowned. I don't exactly remember what it does. I will find out and I will post it later after I finish the stream. Some supply materials are always welcomed. A gilded harp is always welcomed. The rest of them I don't really need. Alright, so now it's time to learn the armors and weapons. So we have the armors. We've got the fins of the drowned, aspect of the drowned, fists of the drowned. And we've got the armory, which is basically the weapons. You can usually find them over here. And there we go. We have the feroxic bow, daggers, greatsword, warhammer, pike, and the feroxic war axe, which is quite useful since it's poisoned. I already have the ghoulish clubs, which deal a lot more damage and require less stamina, so I'm using these. So this is basically what you need to do inside the harbor of the drowned. Now you can just go away and make your way to the next place you want to visit, or you can just go back to your camp and do something with that decayed Eldarium. In my case, I'm just going to take the decaying Eldarium and recycle it. Or better said, melt it into bars. Again, if you need some experience or if you need to try your chance for more decaying Eldarium, you can fight these guys outside the vault. In my case, it's not really worth it. Never forget to stay hydrated, whether it is in a video game or in real life. You will need to drink some liquids. And now we're finally back to camp. It's time to melt that Eldarium. I already had plenty of it, as you can see in here, but more of it doesn't sound bad. I've already collected plenty of dragon powder as well during my journeys. Let's see what exactly we have here. Not bad, not the best. We can make some more bricks. So another thing I'm interested in doing, since these two managed to get themselves some not so interesting perks, I want to unlock the elixir from the sorcery. I will need to upgrade that tome. And I will just take everything with me and take them to the new camp. I'll do the same with these. I'll leave some of it in here as well because I will come back at some point. Oh, let's see, we've got ourselves an elephant. Which is probably the smallest out of all of them. Still, not a bad one. Doesn't really have that much HP. But it's still not bad. I'll just take this one with me as well. Just use Mr. Horsey over here to carry most of the things. Now these I already have at the new camp, so I don't really need them. I will take these as well. And it's time to go. Okay, so now since I don't have anything else to do, I can just run straight over there. And you can actually see how much it helps to have a horse. To be fair, his stamina is running kind of fast, especially when you're using him to go fast. So depleting it can be an issue from time to time, but if you've got your trolls with you, most of the enemies on the way, no matter where you go, are easy to deal with, so you don't need the horse to run away from them or something like that. which gives you plenty of time to let him rest and then carry on with the journey. And this was something bad. Now I can just spawn in my bed, which is close by, and not mess up again. So my trolls are right here, I'm right here. Too bad my horse is dead. I should be able to get there without a scratch, even like this. And this is why a survival game is a survival game. You don't just go jumping off bridges. Now, first thing first, I need to get to my armor, and then probably I'll find my trolls on the bridge if they're not already down. Whoa! And that wasn't planned. That really wasn't planned. I think these are the first 2 times I managed to die in the game since I started, and it was just out of foolish mistakes. Now, after seeing this, I think everyone knows how important it is to have a spawn point exactly where you need it, so this doesn't happen to you. And the landing was a success. My horse is still alive, which is quite nice, to be fair. My thrall seems suicidal, probably from missing me too much. But my horse is here, my gear is here, so except the time that was wasted, everything is just fine. Now I just need to get upstairs on the bridge so I can get my trolls back. Not sure I can climb it though, so I'll just go the other way. Yeah, I have to apologize for that. I wasn't really thinking about this happening, and instead of having a short trip to my second base, I ended up having one of the longest ones. Still, I'm safe, my horse is safe, my trials are suicidal but safe. So it's time to get them back. And be on our way. Hopefully without jumping over a bridge. Now, the unfortunate thing is that I did lose my sigils, which means I'm gonna have to do all the other vaults. So that's not so nice, as I've already did quite a few of them. But I do need the decaying Eldarium, so it's not such a major issue. Now, if you need some horses, or you need a spare horse, you can always come to this area. And there are some over there. Yeah, so as you can see, you can find them right here next to the lay shrine of the demon. I don't need them now, so there's no point in taking them. But in case you do, this is one of the easiest places you can get them from. So as you can see, I'm halfway there. I managed to get here quite fast. Well, except the jumping of the bridge part. Now I don't have anything against these guys, so I'm not going to visit them. Just gonna mind my own business. And it's finally back to what's going to be my main base. I'll just set Mr. Horsey next to the stable. I always forget how exactly to get to his inventory. Okay, so very soon I'll need to do some summoning. Alrighty then. Now I just need to build that thaumaturgy bench. I'll just build it over here. Get the Tome of Kurak in there. Oh, I recovered the Sigil of the Fiend, which is quite good. Now let's see exactly what I need. So, I've got the Sorcerer's spell pages covered. Let me see. I can build this one as well. I still need to dye my armor a little bit from time to time. And it's time to do a little bit of organizing in here, leaving the treasures where they belong. Yeah, so as I said earlier, I do need some glass flasks, so I'm going to melt some of these crystals while I keep the rest. Let's get the sorcerer here as well. After all, what's the point of having a named sorcerer if you're not going to use him or her? But I already have most of what I need, the sorcerer's spell pages, so he doesn't have much to do anyway. Yeah, so basically this is what I needed to do during this episode. So I'll see you in the next episode, where I'm going to finally upgrade that tome to doing the elixir of rebirth. An elixir that actually allows you to change the perks of your trials. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I apologize for the few mistakes I've made both in the game and with my words, my grammars. As I said, I am an introvert, so it's kind of hard for me to talk. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.